What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Good morning, good afternoon, and all that good stuff. I'm gonna try to crank out these videos before I head out and give me a burnt hot dog and some deviled eggs. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be your review for Basketball Wives Season 8, Episode 3. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you, Spill It Boy, for sending a bunch of folk over last night. So look, we pick up Basketball Wives where we left off last week with Shaunie and Jennifer hugging it out. And, Shaunie told Jennifer, look, you don't have to be this person. And Shaunie's thing is, I ain't 100% team Jen. Like, don't get it twisted. She was like, I still think Jen needs some damn help. I'm not necessarily, but at the end of the day, I get it. Like, I can't just walk away and let somebody just be sitting there crying in the middle of the flow. And she talks to Evelyn when it's over. And Evelyn makes a good point. Evelyn's thing was this. Evelyn said, look, I get it that she's dealing with the loss of her mom. She said, but what my issue is, she didn't say this stuff after her mother died. She said this stuff when her mother was still alive and cancer free. I just want her to own up to what she said. Now, her being a bitch and how she's handling it, yeah, that might be connected to her mourning. But this is stuff she said years ago. So this has nothing to do with her mom. And I was like, you know what, Evelyn, that's valid. That is a valid point. And Shaunie was like, so do you just want the apology? She was like, I just want her to own up to what she's doing. So, you know, no real resolution there. So then we have Jackie, Shaunie, and Tammy. They meeting up for lunch, and you know, Tammy's talking about Kenny Anderson. I didn't know Kenny Anderson had a stroke. I missed that whole headline. I did not know. But she's just talking about that he had a stroke and how, she said, at the end of the day, contrary to popular belief, I did love my husband. She was like, I don't love him now. I don't want him back. She said, but you never want to see somebody go through that. She said, he's still the father of my children. And he was in ICU, and the whole, I think she said, right side of his body is paralyzed, which happens to a lot of stroke victims, unfortunately. So she said he's in rehab and redoing, getting everything. It's a process. It is a process. And unfortunately, with strokes, it depends on how long he was. Um, it took to get medical care and all that stuff, the severity of the stroke. So she was just saying how it just was really, it's a process. And she said, but Reggie allowed her to process it. She said, we don't pretend like we didn't have a past. So he understands that this was somebody that I spent a lot of my life with, I had children with, that I loved. So there are some things there that I had to process. Later on, we see her talking to her daughter, and her daughter was like, we know they never had, we know they didn't have the best relationship after the divorce and things like that. Um, what's that? What? Anyway, um, but she was saying how, she, the thought of losing him, she didn't want to think of things that went left unsaid. And then they got to talking about Tammy and her smoking, and she said, I, you know, you know what smoking does, and you saw what happened to my dad. Life is short. We really want you here for the long haul. And Tammy was like, look, I know smoking's bad, but I've tried everything. It just doesn't work. I've tried the patches and the gum and everything. And her daughter was like, well, look, if this ain't enough motivation for you to stop smoking, I don't know what's going to be. So later on in the episode, we see Tammy go to a hypnotist to try to, you know, basically get rid of that craving. We don't know if it worked or not because Tammy fell asleep. She said if hypnotism is supposed to feel like sleep, then it worked because I was knocked out. So we don't know if that worked on Tammy or not, but that was what Tammy was kind of getting into this episode. Then we see Evelyn hang out with Phoebe. Last week I called her CB. I apologize. Her name is Phoebe, but it's Phoebe spelled with an F. It's not spelled the traditional Phoebe way. Um, but we see Phoebe. I like Phoebe. Okay, I like Phoebe, but let me tell you, Phoebe gives me very Cardi B vibes. Phoebe was getting a tattoo of her grandfather was the cancer ribbon. And she was, just talking about how, excuse me, she was just talking about how, the cancer came quick. No, it was her father, not her grandfather. The cancer came quick, and how once he was diagnosed, she was like 3 weeks later he was gone. And so she's still dealing with that, and she got a little emotional, and Evelyn got a little emotional. Her and Evelyn vibe because they're both from New York. And my thing is this, let me say this about Miss Phoebe. I feel like I like Phoebe. I feel like before the season's over, Phoebe gonna smack somebody. And I feel like Phoebe ain't TV ready. And what I mean by that, by not being TV ready, is, a lot of them know to wait for security to show up. They know how to talk a whole lot and do a whole lot of bucking until security show up, and then they do something because they know security gonna stop it. I don't think Phoebe got that in her. I think Phoebe, if she ready to smack somebody, she gonna smack them. And I think before the season over, she gonna smack somebody. I don't know who it's gonna be, but she gonna do it. So then we see the ladies go out to lunch or dinner. I think they were at dinner, a little spot. We have OG, we have CC, Malaysia, and Jackie. Let me tell you about Miss OG. They're at dinner and they're talking about, first of all, OG looked a hot damn mess. Let me just start there. I don't know what these outfits that she be wearing. I don't know where she get them from. And I don't know who told her they're a good idea to put them on, but they are not. They are not. Anyway, with that being said, um, they're talking at dinner and they're talking about how Kristen and Cece sort of have a tentative truce and they're trying to work towards something. And OG is hating the whole time. She just talking about Kristen this and Kristen that. And well, um, well, I hope it works out, but I just don't know. And Malaysia was like, why is it that, why I feel like you don't want them to be cool? You don't want my family to come back together. Like, why I feel like you're working against my family being happy. Well, I mean, it's not that. It's just, I want them to be happy. I just, just tread carefully, because she was talking about inviting her to the engagement party, and she was like, Cece can invite whoever she wants to invite. I'm just saying, she just needs to tread carefully. She just needs to be real careful. So in her confessional, she keeps insinuating that she knows all these secrets about Kristen and she knows all these things about Kristen. And she said, publicly, Cece trying to make it seem like she working things out with Kristen, but privately, she's still talking to me like, I don't like that bitch, and she this and she that. So she feel like, you saying one thing here, but then when it's just the two of us, you telling me something different. What's good? So the Malaysia and Jackie end up leaving, and OG and um Cece is still there. And OG keeps insinuating that it's these secrets and Kristen this and she's fake that. And you know what I'm talking about. And you know what and Cece was like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So I was like, look, if you're going to say it, say it. But see, OG one of them people that when you mad at somebody and you telling and you talking, she the wrong person to have around. Cause see, when we get mad, not everybody, but when people get mad, then they get to talking trash about the last person and they tell you all their deepest, darkest secrets because they mad at them. And, and then but you got to be careful who you tell that to. You got to tell that to somebody that can hold it. OG ain't that person, because see, now OG want to tell all the secrets. OG want to let it out. She can't hold on to it, and she's mad because now she feels like Cece and Kristen are gonna work things out. And I don't know if she's jealous. I don't know if she feel like that's gonna leave her high and dry, or if she just bitter like that. Because again, you should be happy that they're trying to work things out, but it's almost like Malaysia said, you don't want them to be friends, you don't want them to be cool. So they kind of left it at that. But if you're sitting there watching, you're like, well, damn, what's the secret? Tell us what's going on. What's the big deal? What's going on? Um, Evelyn is starting a skincare line. She said that when she was having all her joint issues, one of the things that her doctor asked her about were what chemicals, what are the products that you're using? Because a lot of products do have chemicals. Um, so she's starting a skincare line that has a lot of natural chemicals, as well as was it CBC, which is like from marijuana. I don't know all the technical terms, but it's from weed. But we know that there are a lot of medicinal reasons for weed, and so it's supposed to be a very good natural skincare line. So she's inviting the ladies to come through, but they got to be natural. I don't know why every reality show want the girls to show up au natural at some point, but okay, I ain't mad at it. It's cool. I'm gonna say this. Let me take a 2-second little time out. I used to sell a product. and it's the company is called Arbonne, and that's exactly what the product was. The products are all natural products. What a lot of people don't realize is that here in the United States, because our laws are so fucked up, and it's such a capitalist society, which ain't nothing wrong with capitalism. I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with capitalism, but because of that and greed, that whole greed is good mantra, there are a lot of products that can be sold in the United States that if you go into other countries, they cannot be sold. For example, the Johnsons and Johnson's No More Tears. The reason why it's No More Tears is because there's a chemical, and I know they stopped doing it now, but for years it was that whole No More Tears thing. There was a chemical that was in the shampoo that would stop your tear ducts from working. You couldn't buy that product in Europe because you could buy Johnson and Johnson in Europe, but you couldn't buy the No More Tears in Europe because that chemical is not allowed in Europe. You understand what I'm saying? So, um, it, what there's some validity, a lot of validity to what Evelyn is saying. Even lipstick, think about, we put it on our lips, so whatever is in the lipstick, it seeps into our system. So when you're buying, you know read the labels of what you're putting in your body and on your face and lotion and all that stuff. So that's just a sidebar. I don't sell the product anymore, but I still use the products. Not all of them, but I still use a lot of those products because they are natural and they are better for your body. Anyway, I'm done. Moving on. So Evelyn was also talking to Jackie, just in general about, just again, once again, the whole Jennifer situation. And, just the fact that she was like, I'm not going to allow her to use her mom as an excuse, for what she said about my child. Like, I'm just not going to allow that to happen. She also didn't invite Tammy to her event. So I guess her and Tammy still ain't made. Now, she'd have made up with Jackie, but her and Tammy still ain't got no truce going. That's cool. And I'm glad that they're not forcing it. I'm glad that they're not trying to make these two sit down, have a ponderosa, or none of that other stuff. At least so far now. Who knows what they're gonna do later on. Um, we saw a cute little scene with Evelyn and her son at the store. She said that he has some natural baseball talent. He gets it from his dad. And so she was getting him some equipment and stuff like that. That's what she was inviting all the girls to come to, her skincare party and everything. Um, Kristen and Jennifer. Kristen, once again, is trying to explain to Jennifer why everyone's mad at her. Jennifer just does not want to take. First of all, Jennifer is sticking to the story that she ain't saying. So here's the thing. If Jennifer's narrative, and if she wants to stick to the narrative that she didn't say these things about Evelyn's daughter, then I understand her not taking responsibility because she's saying she never said it. Now, on the flip side, if she said it, she's not going to take responsibility because she feels justified in it. Because then she says, well, Evelyn is no angel and Evelyn's done stuff too. So again, both sides of this, Jennifer ain't ready to take no responsibility, and I'm done with it. I'm over it because again, she keeps talking about what her dad wasn't there. He sent her a text message. Her dad ain't shit. Her mother's gone. She don't have a husband. She don't have kids. She's alone. Which is all the more reason why you should make sure you got some good friends around you. All the more reason why you should take care of your friendships and cherish your friendships and not throw them out. And if you didn't say the stuff that Shaunie said you said, then work a little bit harder to get your friend back. Like Evelyn said, you didn't, somebody that you claim you helped me raise, you didn't even reach out to her when all that stuff came out, whether you said it or not. She was hurt by the accusation. And you didn't even reach out to her to say, I would never say anything like that about you. I love you. I know it's not true. Like, even that would have lent some validity. But the fact that you didn't say nothing, you just went radio silent. Well, if I'm Evelyn or Evelyn's daughter, I don't feel like you said the shit too. Like, you ain't even called to address it. You didn't call to tell me it's bullshit. Nothing. So anyway, so forget about the two of them. Moving on. Uh OG and Jackie. First of all, this whole scene was a hot mess. Okay, a hot butted mess. OG is coming out with her own line of, it's like a reverse bobblehead. Jackie described it perfectly. It's like a reverse bobblehead. It's they she's doing a doll that twerks. So instead of the bobblehead, the butt is gonna move. Now I could see Black China doing this. I could see Apple Watch doing this. No, I could see people who are known for their booty doing this. OG, don't nobody know who the hell you are. Don't nobody care nothing about you or your booty. Who the hell gonna buy this other than Jackie Christie? Who gonna buy this doll? That's the best idea you and your management done came up with. That's the best thing you can do from your exposure from this show is a bobblehead, bobble twerking doll. That's all you got. So then she wants Jackie to do a cast of her booty. Like they do, the stomachs and stuff like that for pregnant women. And Jackie don't care. She's like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. So they done mixed up the plaster of Paris. They done rubbed it all over her booty. And they gotta wait for it to dry. And while they're waiting for it to dry, Jackie says, look, what is your issue with Kristen? I mean, you just don't vibe with her or what? What is the problem? Why don't you like this woman? What is it? And what can we do to try to help y'all come together and try to resolve this? I mean, what can we do? There she go again, start talking about Kristen being fake and she's a fraud and she's a phony and she's a fake and she's a fraud and she's a phony. And Jackie says, well, we're all basketball wives, which of course is a very planted statement. You know what I mean? That was a very, because she didn't say we all cool, we all friends, we're all basketball wives. So now, OG gonna say, are we? Are we really? Are we really basketball wives? And of course, they left us hanging. She wouldn't tell us what it's all about, right? Okay, here we go. So we see, I already talked about that, where Tammy went to get her hypnotist. I don't think it worked. I think Tammy left out of there and lit her up a good old Newport in the car on the way home. I don't think nothing about that hypnotism worked for Miss Tammy. So we get to the party and everybody's starting to show up. Like I said, everybody's there except for Tammy and Jennifer. Now Evelyn got on the face, honey. Evelyn said, look, I had a meeting this morning. I had to put my face on. I sent y'all a text to let y'all know I was gonna have on my makeup. Because the thing is, when you're using product, you should have a clean face, obviously. For obvious reasons. You're putting on facial cream and cleanser and stuff like that. So you should have a clean face. There's no purpose in. And so they're using the product, and Cece seems to like it. They're talking very positive about it. And Evelyn was like, well, shoot, Cece's the skin guru. She likes it. I must be doing something right. We've come a long way from last season and the happy ending. So everybody's having a good time. Except for evil ass, jealous ass OG. OG shows up, honey, and she on 10. She's ready. She is ready with whatever this ammunition that she has. She ready to spill it. See, that's why I said she ain't the kind of person you can tell your business to. She ain't the one that you can give your secrets to, because as soon as she feel like you're not her friend anymore or you're not in her corner anymore, she'll be quick to throw it out there. So that's what she did. She pulled Cece aside and she starts talking to Cece. Okay, my bad. Let's back up. So Cece and Kristen were talking, and Kristen invited Cece to Cece invited Kristen to the engagement party. Now Kristen can't come because she said that's the cancer walk for her mom. She said her mom is cancer free, but they still do, the walk and everything. And it's the same weekend, so she's not gonna be able to make it because Kristen's from New Orleans, so I'm assuming her family she'll be in New Orleans that weekend. And Cece says, well, I'm a little worried about myself. She found out that she has to have a biopsy on her uterus. And she said, she really doesn't want to know the results until after the engagement party. She doesn't want that distraction. And, Kristen was like, well, I'm a little curious about that because, Kristen's a nurse. I mean, Cece's a nurse. And so she understands, how this works and that early intervention and stuff like that. But let me tell you something. Medical people are the worst fucking patients. They'll be the first ones to put something aside. They'll be the first ones to ignore symptoms. They'll be the first ones to say, I don't need to go to a doctor. Whatever that's just what they do. That is just what they do. So then, Malaysia comes in. Malaysia says, the other night when we all went out to eat, I feel like OG was holding on to something. It seems like she doesn't want you and Kristen to make up. She doesn't want y'all to be cool. And Cece was like, well, when me and OG are by ourselves, we don't talk about any of this. It's when other people come around and they bring their 2 cents in. And Kristen was like, well, she still shouldn't have no opinion about it, which is valid. So Malaysia says, again, a very planted statement says, well, is there anything you said to her when we're not around that would give her some sort of, ammunition, make her feel like she knows something? Cece got that deer in the headlights look. No, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. No. So then Cece comes over. Excuse me. That's when OG came over and pulled Cece aside, and she's telling Cece, I just feel like, if you and Kristen are making up, that's fine. But I just want it to be genuine. I just want y'all to, deal with, really address the real issue. Your real issues, and really talk out your issues. And Cece was like, well, we're okay. And OG says, but was Thomas there? Was Thomas there to resolve the issue? Was Thomas there? And Cece was like, no, but but we're good. We're good. So then Kristen and Cece, I don't even remember how it went down. Let's just get to it. Then Kristen and Cece get to arguing. And OG get to arguing. Baby, OG starts talking about, well, let's tell you're fake and you're fraudulent and you're this and you're that. Tell the truth. Last year, you had to borrow clothes from Cece and borrow shoes from Cece, and you were borrowing things from Cece. You're fake. You're fake. Well, then Cece, so then Kristen started talking about her boyfriend, and they bleeped all of that out. But what I could pick up was that she was talking about that her boyfriend was sleeping with some other people, and she was dropping names. That's a lie. That's a lie. That sounds like it's the truth, because that's the way. If you don't have no better retort, then that's a lie. It sounds like it's the truth. And then OG went for the jugular. OG then says, tell the truth. Tell the truth about the grandparents. Byron isn't even Thomas's father. That's his stepson. So you're talking about he doesn't come to see his grandson. That's not his grandson. Honey, you could tell that hurt every piece of Kristen's being. Like, again, I don't know how much of this was planned that they was going to share, but Kristen went off. But it wasn't, her first reaction was pain. She was hurt. And Malaysia and Shaunie kind of got her out of the room because they was going there. And Kristen is hurt. She is crying. She's banging against the wall. She's on the floor. She is hurt. And they're trying to talk to her. They're trying to tell her, look, don't let nobody tell your story. You don't let nobody tell your story. That is your story to tell. Don't let her take that from you. So then Shaunie goes back in there, and Shaunie's hot. And Shaunie is telling OG, what you just did was fucked up. That was wrong, what you just did. And Cece ain't never moved off that damn couch. Cece sat there the whole time. Like she didn't orchestrate this whole situation. Because OG wouldn't have known if you hadn't told her. That wasn't no shit that was just falling from the sky. So OG was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? She's fake. You didn't hear what she said about my boyfriend when she said my boyfriend was sleeping with so-and-so. And Shaunie said, that is different. She said, when y'all get to arguing, you can argue back and forth and talk about each other's man and talk about each other's this, but you don't bring in family business. That's family business. That's not your story to tell. That's not your family. That's not your story to tell. And OG didn't seem, here go another one, Jennifer. She feels justified in what she did. She don't feel like what she did was a problem. Well, y'all act like y'all don't hear what she says to me. That's bullshit. When she says stuff to me, oh, it's okay for her to just say whatever she want to say and disrespect me. She disrespected my man last season. Okay, but again, what you just did is totally different. And Shaunie was giving it to her. Shaunie was letting her have it. So then Malaysia came in there. Malaysia said, no, Shaunie said, so did you tell her? Cece said, well, it's not a secret. I don't see what the problem is. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Shaunie said, are you serious right now? That's not, people. That is a family. It's not so much that it's a secret. It's family business. See, it's the same shit we talking about on Queen Sugar. It's family business. It ain't nobody else's business. And OG couldn't wait to tell all of that. She couldn't wait to tell it. So then Shaunie went back out there to talk to them and tell them, and let them know that Cece was the one that told OG. Malaysia said, I just asked her, had she told OG something that she didn't need to tell her. So then Malaysia went back in there. Y'all know Malaysia don't play. Malaysia went back in there and said, Cece, I just fucking asked you. And Cece, but I don't see what the problem is. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, everybody knows. And then uh Malaysia, then OG starts talking about how it's on Instagram and it's not a secret and other people know. Well, then if it wasn't a secret, why are you acting like it was a secret? Why are you acting like it was a secret? And like I said, Kristen is hurt. But when Kristen heard that Cece was the one that told it, oh, Kristen was on her way back down that hallway to fuck Cece up. Or she was gonna get her. And they were able to stop her and calm her down. Shaunie said, go get Malaysia. She told Jennifer, go get Malaysia. Because you know how Malaysia is. Go get Malaysia. You know, Malaysia like to throw tables and shit. And so OG's justified in what she's doing. Cece don't feel like she did nothing wrong. Poor Kristen and laid out on the floor, boo-hooing and crying. Like I said, she's hurt. And Shaunie then told her that she was fucked up. Malaysia then told her she was fucked. Even Jackie was like, you don't do that. You don't, that's family business. You don't tell no family business. You don't do that. So again, no matter how you might necessarily feel about Kristen in this moment, I can't, I cannot, because I don't know how she felt justified in even telling all that. But anyway, that's where we left off, baby. Now, a little bit of tea I saw on Instagram. Supposedly, TK Carter, the comedian TK Carter, is Thomas's real dad. And they do have somewhat of a relationship because there are pictures on Instagram. But again, you gotta really be looking for it. It ain't, if they're on this show calling Byron his dad, and Byron raised him as a child, then that's who his father is. You don't get to tell somebody who somebody's father is. Again, that's the thing we're dealing with on Queen Sugar. Anyway, y'all, I've been ranting enough. I'm done. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments, please.